Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now let's start with the first story. It's called The Last Hour. This story takes place a few years back when I was 17 years old. Needing money, I applied at an agency that provides temporary external staff for different kinds of stores. I was sent to work in a cotton. That's something like an H&M. All went almost well for the first 2 or 3 days, except the fact that I had no break on my 6-hour shifts. My job was pretty simple. I had to stay in the warehouse, unboxing new arrivals, folding them and making sure they had an alarm on. I did this without complaining for the most part. It's the last day, and I was supposed to leave at 6 PM. I did my best and managed to finish a box 15 minutes before my shift's end. I happily get my stuff and prepare to leave, when my manager comes with a look of superiority. It's not 6 o'clock yet. If you leave now, I won't pay you for this last hour. I was getting angry. I have to tell you, a big box of new arrivals usually takes around half an hour only to fold. Maybe another half an hour if you want to also put the alarm on them. So I picked up the biggest box I could find, scattering the clothes all over the floor and began folding them. After 15 minutes I just stand up, ready to go, leaving a huge mess behind me. The manager comes back and starts telling me that I need to clean up. I just stay there, show her the clock on my telephone and smile. It is past 6. If you want me to clean up, you have to pay me for 1 more hour, or I won't do it. She was just standing there and telling me she will report me to the agency. I smiled, raved and told her to do whatever she wants, but I suggested cleaning up first. The agency never called me again after paying me. The next story is called Shipping Cost. I work at a tech company. I was doing testing for a new app feature at the time. Part of this involved getting 2 mobile SIMs to test with. We resell mobile phone SIM cards to businesses, so we ship thousands of these things. Shipping for one of these is about $1, and is no strenuous task in any way. I put the order through our normal sales process, but attached it to the test account so it's free, and set the shipping address as my house, our standard procedure. I work from home and thought this was the quickest way for me to get these. In comes a message from our warehouse manager, advising me to prevent the cost of shipping I should come in and collect them. I say no, just ship them, and he's really not willing to budge on this. This guy has worked here since the start and basically still thinks we are a company of 10 people, not 5,000. You can tell by the way he emails the whole company when our toilet is blocked, or when our visitor has come to the office warehouse store instead of the main office. Anyway, I say fine and leave them in the office and I'll come in to get them. However, I had a stroke of genius, or pettiness, the next week when I went in to collect them. I used our Uber for Business account to take myself from home to the office and back again to collect this one envelope. It cost about $130 and nearly 2 hours of my day, done during business hours of course. I told my manager exactly what I did. She was very much on my side of, he should have just shipped them. I heard that when the warehouse manager's boss, who I had a good relationship with, found out what I did, he was just speechless at the warehouse manager. And he joked I probably still took the path of least resistance. The last story is called Don't Leave. During my time working at a grocery store, I ran through multiple managers. Some were good and I got along with them, and others not so much. The manager of this story wasn't the worst I've had, but I can definitely say she was the most annoying to deal with. She was one of those types that went, I don't know your duties all that well, but I will micromanage you and you have to do things my way. And she got angry if we didn't do things her way, even if her way wasn't the most efficient. Around the time she started as a manager, a new store policy was being implemented about cleaning the small public bathroom in the back of the store every 2 hours. Honestly, I was not against that. As the public bathroom was only a single toilet and sink, a quick mop and spray wouldn't take too long anyway, and cleanliness was made all the more important when 2020 first started. Unfortunately, my manager's micromanaging came into play even here. Basically, if the place wasn't clean enough to eat off of, it wasn't clean according to her. Yes, somehow she expected that level of cleanliness every 2 hours, whilst all of us are busy with our own work. It didn't help that occasionally there were doodles and other such things on the walls that were hard to get out, if not impossible, with just normal cleaning supplies. I even remember that one time some guy used spray paint to do some graffiti in there. Anyway, one day it's my turn to clean the bathroom. At the time it was considerably busy due to the lack of cashiers that day. As I was often used as a backup cashier at that point, I didn't have the time to do such a deep clean like my manager wanted at the first 2-hour mark. A bit later, my manager apparently must have seen the bathroom herself, and she decided to pull me a raid to berate me. Why didn't you clean the bathroom? You were supposed to earlier. I did, but I didn't have the time to deep clean everything. I had to help some customers at the cash register. There are some things I can't clean in there anyway. No excuses. You are not a full-on cashier anyway. Now go back and clean it again. And do it right this time. I want it to be spotless. Don't leave until you are done. Aye, ma'am. And now it's finally time for malicious compliance. As mentioned earlier, sometimes there were things on the walls that just would not come out with the cleaning materials we had on hand. This is why we usually had a cleaning company do such a deep cleaning at night. This naturally resulted in not being able to leave, as I had no way of cleaning these things myself. So I just did my best to clean what I could and then just sat on the toilet doing stuff on my phone. I had nothing else to do after all and nowhere I could go. Of course, I wasn't mean-spirited enough to make the customer's bladder suffer from my compliance. So I did exit the bathroom when somebody needed to use it, but I went back in afterward. All in all, I didn't do much for the next 5 hours or so. I just got paid for sitting around on my phone and occasionally cleaning. Hooray for having a charger on hand. The fallout outside the bathroom, however, was much more eventful. Turns out that a bit after I was sentenced to being in my bathroom jail cell, one of the cashiers ended up clocking out for the day and another cashier called out sick. That just left one cashier. Technically two, but one has to run the self-checkout and my manager to deal with the horde of customers wanting to check out during one of the busiest days of the week. As expected, I was called over the loudspeaker multiple times to come help by that manager of all people. But I'm like, you ordered me to stay in here, so I'm staying in here. And didn't respond to those calls. It didn't help that I knew she called because she just didn't want to do any cashier work. Eventually, that other cashier also ended up having to clock out for the day. So when normally I and the one who called out sick would be at the cash registers, my manager had to do this mostly by herself. Unfortunately, I couldn't see this in real time as I was in the back, but I do hope she had to suffer a bit from angry, rude and/or entitled customers. I ended up leaving my prison a bit after 8 PM, which was after she left for the night. I hadn't had my lunch break after all, and I actually felt like helping after she was gone. During my next shift with her in charge, I got pulled into the office by her and sat down with another manager. I suppose as a witness or something. Where were you that day? You didn't respond to any calls and nobody could find you. You must have left the store. I was simply following orders. Your orders, might I add. What are you talking about? You told me that I couldn't leave the bathroom until I made sure it was spotless. Well, it shouldn't have taken you that long. I did tell you there was stuff I couldn't clean with the supplies on hand, but you insisted. Even said you'd fire me if I didn't do it. Okay, the last part was a lie I made up to get the other manager in the room more on my side. But it also had the unintended effect of getting the micromanaging manager to nearly lunge at me, and she started full on yelling at me. Despite willingly taking part and trying to set her off with malicious compliance, I still had some anxiety issues and they kicked in during this time. That was enough for the other managers to step in and stop this. In the end, I was just told I could go back to my normal duties and that I didn't have to keep the bathroom that clean. Unfortunately, my micromanaging manager didn't seem to get much more than a slap on the wrist. To be fair, it made sense as she didn't do much else besides yell at me and there was no physical altercation. But even then, I managed to have some fun before I left that job, for unrelated reasons, by simply watching her frustrated face knowing that she couldn't micromanage me as much anymore. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.